What's the most heartless thing your family member has ever done? My 6-year-old daughter was sobbing uncontrollably after falling off her bike, blood streaming from her knee and elbow, but my sister-in-law refused to let us into her house because we'd arrived without calling first. You know the rules, she said through the barely open door, her perfectly manicured hand blocking entry. I need a 24-hour notice for visits. No exceptions. Please, Sarah, she's bleeding badly and we just need to clean the wounds, I pleaded, lifting my daughter to show the deep gash on her knee, gravel embedded in the flesh. She didn't even glance at my trembling child. Rules are rules, Michelle. You can't just show up expecting me to drop everything because you decided to go biking. I explained we were on the trail directly behind her house when my daughter hit loose gravel and crashed hard. Her house was 5 minutes away. The nearest urgent care was 30 minutes. She just shrugged and started closing the door. There's a gas station 2 miles down. They have paper towels. My daughter was hyperventilating from pain and fear, her pink helmet still askew on her head. Aunt Sarah, please, she whimpered. Sarah's face remained stone cold. Maybe next time your mom will remember to call ahead. 20 minutes passed as we sat on her manicured front porch, me using bottled water and crumpled tissues from my bag to dab at wounds that clearly needed proper cleaning. Through the pristine bay window, I could see Sarah inside, casually folding laundry while watching her cooking show. I knocked again, my daughter now dizzy and complaining of nausea. Sarah, please, just some bandages and antiseptic. She might have a concussion, I begged through the door. You're teaching her she can break boundaries whenever it's convenient, she called back coldly. That's terrible parenting, Michelle. Children need consistency. I asked if we could at least use her bathroom to wash the debris from the wounds properly. The house is for invited guests only, she replied, her shadow moving away from the door. 45 minutes crawled by. My daughter's knee was swelling dramatically, turning purple around the edges. The elbow had stopped bleeding, but it already looked infected, with the trail dirt ground deep into the skin. Her elderly neighbor emerged with her mail and gasped, "Oh my God, what happened to this poor baby?" When I explained our situation, her jaw dropped. "Sarah's really making you sit out here? With an injured child?" She looked at my daughter's wounds. "This needs immediate medical attention." The neighbor, Patricia, brought us into her home, gave us her entire first aid kit, and then drove us to urgent care herself, muttering about some people's priorities the entire way. At the clinic, the doctor's face grew concerned as he cleaned chunks of gravel from deep in the wound. "This is embedded pretty deeply. How long ago did this happen?" When I told him for over 2 hours, he frowned. "This could have been much simpler if treated immediately. Now she'll need antibiotics for certain, possibly IV if infection has already set in." My daughter needed 11 stitches on her knee, 4 on her elbow. The doctor confirmed a mild concussion. "The infection risk is significant because foreign material was in these wounds for hours," he said, prescribing strong antibiotics. "Watch for fever, red streaks, or increased swelling." That night, my daughter developed a fever of 102. We spent 8 hours in the ER getting IV antibiotics. The infection had spread quickly. The next week, I showed up at Sarah's house with exactly 24 hours notice by a certified mail. I brought photos of my daughter's infected wounds, the stack of medical bills totaling $3,400, and screenshots of our family group chat where relatives expressed their horror. "You're being overly dramatic as usual," Sarah said, not inviting me past her foyer. "It was just a scraped knee." I placed the urgent care report on her spotless entryway table. 11 stitches, mild concussion, infection that required emergency IV antibiotics, all because you wouldn't let a bleeding 6-year-old use your sink. "You should have called first," she said, voice wavering slightly. "You know I have anxiety about unexpected visitors." "When exactly did your anxiety become more important than a child's medical emergency?" I asked quietly. "Your own niece?" Her husband came downstairs having heard everything. "Sarah, what the hell? You left Emma bleeding on our porch? A 6-year-old?" "I was maintaining healthy boundaries," she protested, tears forming. "You were being pathologically cruel," he said, voice shaking. "To a child, to family." I stood up. "We won't be coming back, with or without notice. And Sarah, the entire family knows. Grandma knows. Your own mother knows." 2 months later, she was conspicuously absent from Thanksgiving, when the whole family made it clear she wasn't welcome until she apologized. Her husband called to say she'd started therapy for her rigid control issues. Patricia, the neighbor who helped us, we still bring her daughter's family dinner every Sunday.